Right,
So
right, right.
my guy, Kevin Jacobs, man.
What's up? What's up?
Been rocking for a long time, bro.
Yeah, man, it's been years.
Man.
Yeah.
So I had to bring you on, man, on Musical Living TV, man. Welcome to Musical Living TV, bro.
Hey, man, well, I appreciate the invite, man. It's good to be here. Finally.
Sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. So man, tell me a little bit about where you from, bro, and what you do, man.
Man, I'm from Dallas. I'm from Turl. I feel like I'm from everywhere, man. I moved around so much back and forth all my life. It's like people from Dallas feel like I'm from Dallas. People from Turl feel like I'm from Turl. But I'm city, country, family and music. Um, just out here trying to live my best life like everybody else.
Yeah, yeah, that's what T Pain say too, huh?
There you go. There you go. Oh, we going all right. I'm gonna get you.
uh, so man,
But I'm ripping your city right now.
yes,
I
sir.
know you
Hey, all day, man.
right, right, right.
So, the main thing I want to talk about is gonna be networking, right?
Okay.
So, like the importance of networking, man. As musicians, we big on being nice on our instrument and sounding good and
Right,
touring, making the money. But how does some of that stuff happen? Is through networking, right?
right, right. That's
So
right.
tell me, like what's the importance of networking to you?
Man, networking is everything. Like when you look at, because whether you're doing music or whatever you're doing, I mean, you're conducting business. And in business, regardless of what business it is, like you gotta have people, right? Because without people, you don't have consumers, you don't have coworkers, you don't have any of the things that actually keep a business driving. You gotta have a demand, and then you gotta have the production, whatever it is, whether it's people, listeners, for music, or the people that's making the music, or the people that's mixing the music, whatever it is, like networking in business, I feel like is one of the most important parts of it. And I really don't think that it gets uh, enough attention, but I think more and more, even with social media, it can really become, uh, um, can really limit you in a lot of ways if you're not utilizing it right, but I'm kind of old fashioned. I believe that shaking hands and talking to people face to face is the best way to build your network. Because you got a lot of barriers in social media and in phone conversations and stuff like that. This type of deal right here makes it a little bit easier because you can see my face. You can hear my tone, and you can see uh, really my intent with the conversation that we have. And I think that's the main difference between talking to people face to face and dealing with people online on social media and stuff, because you know it's so much, you got so much content. It's like you can get lost in the numbers. But if I shake your hand, and we actually have a real conversation, it's more likely that I can impact you. you know
Right.
yeah.
So I know you've done, man, quite a few things, man. People don't know about, but um,
A little bit.
so that so when it comes to networking, like you used to work with a company, and what was the name of the company? I want to make sure I don't say the wrong name.
We're not gonna name the company, but it's
Okay,
it's cool.
bet.
It's
So
cool.
you
Yeah,
used to work with a certain company, and through
right,
that
right, right.
company, you were able to network with people and like really make some moves within the industry.
Oh yeah, man. That's where I found my agent. And I'm no longer with her, and it's no ill will or nothing like that. But like, she was really cool, and she actually like pulled me to the side one day and kind of just dropped some knowledge on me, because I was just one of the many people that was involved in this organization, and she pulled me to the side and was like, "Hey, like you got talent, you got opportunity. Just watch yourself." Like she gave me information about like a lot of the downfalls in the business, and even about some of the people within organizations, like, hey, you got to watch these people and you got to watch these people, and work your jelly. As what he used to say all the time. Work your jelly, and I didn't take offense to it. You know what I'm saying? Big boys, so yeah, with that company, I was able to do some traveling. I mean, I did some recording with platinum, uh, platinum record producers, and man, I mean, it was really nice. Like I got to fly out, out of the state and go deal with some major people. It was a really uh, more so than anything, man, I learned so much, and a lot of times, while we talking about networking, a lot of times it's not even about learning a particular thing about the industry that you're in. Sometimes it's just about learning how to interact with the people, you know. But yeah, so I coached vocals and did some stand-up comedy coaching and stuff like that, and I had opportunities, man. I had a lot of opportunities to go to a lot of places. I had people reaching out to me from Atlanta, from LA, from Miami, from New York, and I ain't talking about mom and pop places. I mean, these are people that have like the top recording studios in the nation. These are people that have uh, were 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 representing people that are still on TV right now, like mainstream people. Like I'm not trying to name drop, you know what I'm saying, but like mainstream people that were saying, "Hey, man, come out here." But it was really all based on networking. Somebody pulled me to the side and told me that I could do something that I wasn't really sure that I could do, and just the encouragement and just the information that I was given really propelled me in a direction where I had a lot of major opportunities. Now, I didn't take all the opportunities because when you got a family, sometimes, and I'm sure you understand. Like sometimes, like I love my family, excuse me, but a lot of times, like you got to be able to go. Like when the opportunity is there, like you gotta go. And if you're not, like if you can't just pack up and go like tomorrow, then sometimes you miss out on those opportunities. But I connected with a lot of good people, man. A lot of good people in the industry.
All right.
Yeah,
So you mentioned something. You said it's about how you interact with those people, right? So
yeah.
give me some examples on how you would interact with somebody that's of importance. Once you meet them, now it's about networking. Like how do you interact with those people, man, to like really network?
I mean, like right now, like I don't talk to a whole lot of people, and I tell people this all the time. Say, look, I don't talk to a lot of people on a regular basis, but I'm always regularly talking to a lot of people. And I know that sounds like it contradicts, but I mean I talk to you regularly. We pretty much we talk throughout the week most times.
Right.
But we also have like mind. We doing a lot of the same things as far as methodology, as far as moving in entrepreneurship.
That's the
Um,
Capricorn, man.
right, yeah, yeah. But um, when I meet, like most of the time when I meet somebody that's an important person, that would be like an important person. Normally, I don't even know it because I talk to people so much that I'm just having like regular conversations with people, and then they hand me a card, and I'm like, "This is you." Like you, this person, like, and I try not to
Right.
be excited, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like a starstruck or nothing like that, but I try to keep it regular, you know what I'm saying? And I try to be as normal as possible, regardless of who I'm dealing with.
Right. So you making me think about something. It's not really about who the person is. It's about the conversation. It's about
Right,
having
right.
natural conversation and
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just
yeah.
being like, oh, this this
Like I want
this is
something
this
from
is
you.
somebody
Like,
that's important. I
right,
need to be like this. It's like, nah,
right, right,
just have regular conversation.
right, right. And so normally, I mean, I've met really important people like at a tire shop, like and I'm looking busted, you know.
Yeah.
I'm looking busted. I need a fresh twist. I ain't shaved, you know, and I just have a regular conversation with a person because I mean at the end of the day we all people, right? You know, we
Right.
dealing with the same things. We dealing with health issues. We dealing with family things. We dealing with trying to be better. We dealing with finances. Um, and honestly, that's not something that I bring up in a conversation with somebody typically, unless I've built that type of relationship with them where I know I can ask them something about money management, you know, and I'm talking about people that's like making like buku money, right? And if I built that relationship with them, is to ask them a personal question like, "Hey, man, how did you do this? Like, how did
Right.
you think to do this or that?" Then they'll share it with me. But typically, man, I just try to be myself and be as normal as possible, um, because at the end of the day, all people they all putting their pants on the same way, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So it's about getting to know them, not really what they
right,
do, but getting to
right,
know
right,
who
right,
they
right.
are, right?
Right, right, right. Yeah, and there are times where like I've had to like kind of check myself like this is a person that because it's easy, man. Nowadays it's so easy um to talk to somebody and like really like hit off with with this person and then in a week like their number not even saved in your phone. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm being honest, their number not saved in your phone and you're like, who was I texting about this? Or like you have to go back through a text message to see like what the number was like, because I know what I was talking about when I was texting back and forth with them, but I didn't say the number because like time and stuff like moves so fast. Now
Right.
you gotta really connect with people. That's what I'm saying. Like when you connect with them, you know, you gotta really connect and just build a relationship and not feel like people with money, they know what it feels like when somebody wants something from them.
Mm.
You know, they people with money, they got money. And
Yeah.
so they know what it feels like. Almost a lot of times they know they can almost tell when they meet somebody that already got money. You know, they can tell when because the conversation is different, you know. And that's another thing is being able to have the type of conversation that is actually impactful with that person so that they see okay this person has some substance because you don't want to be like I'm not talking about like I got nice cars and you know what I'm saying stuff like that but like I'm not talking about that stuff with people that have money because at the end of the day they most of them are not buying super nice cars, they're buying cars that make sense, they're buying cars that support their business, you know. So having content to be able to talk about, and then within that conversation, you know, introducing yourself without it sounding like I'm pitching to be connected with this person in a business type of way. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
being like, hey, like regardless of whether I benefit from knowing you at all, like this is what I do, this is who I am, not because I want something from you, even though I was writing, and that's one of the things that I've tried to get better with is actually just sitting down and writing my thoughts out. Because you know sometimes you have thoughts in a moment, and you'll be thinking the next week, like, man, what was I saying? What was that person? They said something that made me think about something that could have been really pivotal in my life or in somebody else's life. Yeah, so one of the things that I started doing was just writing down my thoughts, you know, like whenever something comes to mind, uh, regardless of what it is. Like sometimes I even like when my wife is talking, like I'll write down like what she said at what time, when it was we talked, you know what I'm saying? Just get into a habit of just keeping notes because I was talking to this guy, man. It's crazy how I linked up with him. Uh, but somebody was like, "Yo, you need to talk to my dude." And this guy is a man. I don't know how many millions of dollars he got. he got a lot. Like he over like, like 3,800 people across the globe. You know what I'm saying? And he said that he write down every single thing, man. He's like, man, I write down everything. He's like, you'd be surprised how much I learn when I go back and read stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I wrote down that people are key in business, and if you want success, bring value to people's lives, and people will put value back into yours. And that value may not actually be like the service that you offer. It might not be the talent that you have. Sometimes it's just you. Sometimes people just need a fresh perspective on something, and that thing will open the door that gets you in a door that wasn't there before.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to rhyme. It just happened like
Yeah,
that.
but yeah, I agree, man. And kind of thinking about something you said that you met a guy at a tire shop, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it the typical tire shop you always go to?
No, not really, man. Not really. It's not a typical tire shop that I go. I ended up there. I had something in my tire, and at the time, man, I was not really doing well. It wasn't even my car. you know. Now I got more cars than I can keep on this property. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't even my car, and I started talking to him. And he asked me. He was like, "What do you do?" And people will ask that. That's it's crazy because a lot of us don't necessarily like. A lot of people don't like what they're doing, right? But when you meet people, it's like one of the main topics they talk about is like work. Like, where do you work at?
Right.
What do you do? And so you have to. That right there is always an opportunity to talk about like what your passion is. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't feel like you are at a place to really publicly announce like I'm baking pies. You know what I'm saying? Somebody asks you like, "What do you do?" Don't tell them, "Well, I work. I'm a cashier at Walmart." Like you can tell them that because people
Really?
will respect you having a job. But like, tell them something that you're passionate about. Like, "Oh, I bake pies." Like, you do. What got you into that? Like, well, grew up with my grandmama, whatever. But it wasn't a typical tire shop that I go to. I had something in my brother's tire because I was driving his car and I was like, I at least should fix the tire, right? I shouldn't call him
Right.
and be like, yeah, bro, man, your tire flat. Come get it. I'm walking the rest of the way. You know what I'm saying? But we talked. He asked me what I did, and I told him, well, I work down at the place everybody know, and I said, but that's not what I do. I said, I sing, and at the time I was doing comedy, and which I won a national comedy competition years and years ago. But he was like, really? He's like, well, I have locations, and maybe you want to use one of the places to put on an event. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't even at a place where I felt like I was, because even though I was doing it, like I wasn't really like driving it hard. You know what I'm saying? I was
Right.
doing it, but I was kind of doing it at my leisure. But so the guy picks me up, right? Well, I met him at one of the locations, and it's crazy because I locked my keys in my car, and he pulled up, and I had the locksmith there already. I didn't want to spend that money either, but I had the locksmith there, and he was like, "You lock your keys in the car?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "How much that cost?" I said, $75. And he said, "Huh, you just took a $75 class on how not to lock the keys in your car." And that kind of started the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, well, that's one way of looking at it. But like, I know you got $75. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
go
Right.
ahead. I'm here because you asked me to be here. But um, and he took me around to all his locations, man. I mean, nice stuff. I mean, prime locations. And I've been rocking with him now, man, since like 2012. What's that? 8, 9 years.
Right. Who is it? You just say who it is, because that's crazy.
Eddie Dean. Eddie
Okay.
Dean, the dude, yeah, yeah, and Eddie has catered for tons of people, man. I mean, from the Bushes, and I mean, like when Katrina happened, like he catered for like tens of thousands of people, like on the like off the muscle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And more so than anything, man, like what I try to do, like I don't like I hardly, and you've met Eddie. You've met Eddie, and you
Right,
know
I have. Yeah, yeah.
Eddie is like a very peculiar guy. Like you can't just have like a conversation like, "Did you watch the football game the other day?" Like he's not
Nah,
gonna talk about that type of stuff because he's like he on a whole different, you know,
quantum field.
right, right, right,
That's
right. He
fact.
on a whole different vibration. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of had to learn how to talk his language. You know what I'm saying? But so a lot of what I did whenever I was with him, I just listened. I listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I might bring up a conversation to get his perspective on it because I may be trying to deal with something, and he always just offers that knowledge. Like, hey, well, maybe you should look at it like this. And I remember when we met and he took me around those locations. He asked me how much I made. He asked me what I was making, and uh, um, and that's not the typical, conversation.
Right.
But I told him I was like, at the time I was making like $19.84 an hour, which is good to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
like good money. You got a lot of people right now that are just trying to find 13, $14 an hour. And he looked at me. I was riding in the car with him. He looked at me and he said, "Oh, you're one of those $20 an hour humans." And I was kind of like, that was about my response. I kind of looked at him like, man, you see how big and black I am in this vehicle with you? but, but I was like, uh, yeah, I guess I am. And he was like, I could pay you $22 an hour to stand in the corner, and it would be a better job than the one that you have right now. And I was like, well, are you hiring? Because I'm looking to get a raise. like I'll take that $22, But then he said, how much would it cost to buy the last hour of your life? And I was like, well, it costs quite a bit. And he said, no, it will cost $19.84 an hour because you don't know when that last hour is, right? And
Right.
I was like you got a point, but I feel like I'm doing pretty good, like that's kind of how I took it. But like I didn't express that to him. I didn't want to take offense. Like when you're networking and somebody says something to you that challenges your value or challenges who you are, like you don't have to be a pushover. You don't have to let nobody treat you or talk to you crazy. But like before you allow your emotion to take over and and potentially break that tie, like hear them out. You know what I'm saying? Give them a chance to support what they're saying, even if you feel like it's like exposing something about you that you don't necessarily agree with or whatever. And so I went back to my little $20 an hour job, and I was miserable. I was miserable. I was like, man, these people don't pay me enough. Man, I'm worth more than this, right? I feel like I have more of value than what they are paying me. And consequently, my the quality of my work increased because my value of myself increased. And I'll just say this: since then, um, um, my annual income has um, at least tripled. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm nowhere near um, um, where I was at that time, but more so than anything, like I didn't let that offend me. I continue to build that relationship with him where I don't call him asking him about stocks or nothing like that. Like I just call him and be like, hey yo, what's going on? What you got going today? You know, and a lot of times those type of things will open up opportunities that you just never know. And one of the things that he always says is that, and you've probably heard him say this, is like, just endless opportunities.
Right.
Like everything, like you gotta look at your interactions with people and your interactions with just life, even your job. If you work in a job and you're trying to do something else, like everybody that's around you, like they're your potential customers when you leave. If you build the right type of relationships with those people, everybody is potentially a consumer. Everybody is a consumer, but everybody that you interact with can if you put a value into their life, then you build the stage for them to put value back into yours, whatever that is, whether it's spreading the word, whether it's $20 for the pie or whatever it is. And but that brings you to the point, like, how are you treating people?
Mm.
Like, how are you treating people? Like, are you treating people like they're disposable? You know what I'm saying? Like when when you connect with that person and then you figure out that you above them, y'all going in the same direction, right? Oh, this person is a musician and I'm a musician, but I'm beyond them. Like, they're not as good as me. I'm endorsed, they're not. Or I played this gig, they haven't. Or I did this show here, they haven't. I know these people, they don't. Are you throwing them away? Like, whatever. Are you impatient? Like, are you breaking promises? Like, are you unreachable? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you answer your phone? like all that stuff matters. I mean, I get tons of phone calls, bro. Like, you on the phone right now. I got a phone right here. I got another phone over there. Like, I got phones ringing off the wall all day. And I try to answer and people understand, people that see this, they'll know. Like, if you call me, I'm simply gonna answer. If even the half the time I answer the phone because you got unknown numbers calling and it'd be like, your car warranty is about to expire. Like, okay. So what do you do for a living? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to everybody. But like, are you condescending? Are you snobby? Are you treating people like they're inferior? Or are you treating people like they're irreplaceable? You know, because sometimes, like, the value that you're adding to a person is like just telling them, like, man, like, I don't necessarily like that music, but like, I mean, I'm sure it's a market for it somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
got some nice stuff. Or are you enduring? Are you available? Are you unpretentious? Like, when how you treat people is really going to take a role because you never know who you're talking to.
That's
Like,
true. And I think it's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's a
right.
vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
Networking is a vibe. And that makes me think about, like, when you said, when I asked you, I said, hey, the tire station you went to, was it the same one you always go to, or was it something different? You said, I want the typical one. It brings me to a point where typically you got to get outside of your comfort zone. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
Go somewhere where you don't always
yeah,
go to
yeah.
network. Because if you stay in that same environment, you trying to network within that same environment that you've been in, you're gonna get the same results, but networking with the same people. But if you get
Right,
outside
right,
your comfort zone, say for instance, you in a situation like you weren't even in your car, bro. You was in your
right.
brother's car. You was in
I
a whole
know.
nother situation
Right,
that
right,
made
right,
you
right,
go somewhere where you never would usually go, and then you
right,
met a millionaire at the tire station that you never go to.
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? And then
right.
the way that he came at you and you responded created that vibe, and it
It
went
did.
from there. You know,
Right,
so
and that's real important, man. You hit a major chord right there when you talking about the vibe, because uh like, if I wanted to leave out, we got to leave out here. You know what I'm saying, in a little bit. If I wanted to leave out and go where we going and get in a fight, I guarantee you I could get in a fight. Like, if I take that fight vibe to the places that I'm going, then I'm gonna attract a fight.
right.
I'm gonna look at somebody, and you know how people do, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look at somebody and they're gonna look back, and then it's gonna be fisticuffs. You know what I'm saying? But when you set a vibe of, hey, like, uh I'm approachable, and that's a major that has been a major problem, I feel like, in our culture, bro. In our culture, where it seemed like it's friendly. Like, don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it can go down, but I'm not going to and even if you come at me with that vibe, like I'm not going to necessarily let you access that part of me, you know what I'm saying, and pull me out of where I'm going, because I got something that I'm trying to do.
Right.
So that is the thing that consumes my mind most of the time, and that thing is driving my emotions. I'm not letting my emotion drive, everything else. You know what I'm saying? But having the vibe of like, hey, I'm approachable, because you got a lot of different things you gotta fight, a lot of times with your appearance. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
let's just be honest. I'm a big black man with dreadlocks. I got a nose ring, you know what I'm saying? But I got a nice smile. That smile, whatever, oh, look at him,
Right.
he's
Right.
nice. And people have come to me and been like, and I had to kind of examine myself, where people was like, he friendly, or are you friendly? And I used to take offense to it just because of the culture.
Right.
Like, saying somebody was friendly, that was like an insult,
Right.
right? So now it's like, yeah, I get along with people. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, why would I want to not be friendly? Why do I want to be? I don't want to be seen as uh you are he's agitated. You know what I'm saying? So I try to carry myself where, regardless of where I'm at, I'm approachable. I'm talking to random people, just starting conversations, because you just never know who's having a bad day. It's not all about selling somebody of this or selling somebody of that, because I hear people with money all the time saying our money is in their pockets, right? But
Right.
but it's not always about that. Sometimes it's just about just connecting with people. And there have been a lot of times where like I met um, where I meet somebody, and then 2 or 3 weeks later I see them again, and then we connect on a different level, and then they're involved in the same industry that I'm in, or they're looking for something else. And I'm always trying to get people like on to whatever it is that I'm doing, because if I see value in it, I'm like, hey man, this is an opportunity for you to that you can capitalize on. Uh, so regardless of where you are and who you're talking to, like, you gotta be approachable. You need to be friendly.
Yeah, I agree. And to add on to that, man, you just don't know who watching you. Even
That's
if they
true.
watching you from a distance.
That's true.
Because the thing is, like, if you talking to somebody you really don't know, or say if somebody approach you in a networking situation, or even if I'm gonna say networking situation, because I feel like anywhere you go is an opportunity to network, right?
Right, right, right.
So say you go somewhere, somebody you don't know because you look like T-Pain, they start talking to you.
All the
You know
time.
what I'm saying? So what if you treat them a certain way? What is if you like,
Right,
get out my face, like, or I'm good, all right, man, and like brush them off. It may be somebody that's right next to you or across from you that could change your life, bro. But because you
right,
treated a person a certain way, they won't deal with you.
right.
So it's all
No,
about you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be mindful of how you treat people,
yeah,
even if it's you know anybody, because people watching you, boy. Even if it's from a distance, they watching you. Trust me. They
yeah,
might
yeah.
never say nothing to you. Like, that person that saw you and heard you talk to that person like that, they may not ever say anything to you, but they may find out who you are and be like, I'm never working with that guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be conscious of how you treat people, man, because it go a long way.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when I was in college, talking about people watching you from a distance. I was walking down and I was broke, man. College, man. hey, hey, everybody scraping up, pitching in
Absolutely.
to get some gas to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And I,
sir.
I was not doing that well. And I remember I was walking down. We had this little statue on campus. It was a statue of Jesus, and all the football players hung out of Jesus. And so I was walking away from Jesus. That sounded bad. And I was
Yeah, it does.
walking away from Jesus. No, I was walking the opposite direction, and I I saw a piece of trash on the ground, right? And the campus was a really, really nice campus, private university. And I saw a piece of trash on the ground, bro, and some said pick it up, right? So I reached down. I walked past the piece of trash. I walked past it, and then it must have been God that's saying pick it up. And I turned back around. I went and picked it up, bro, and I went and put it in trash. Well, somebody in the administration saw me do it, right? And they came to me. They said it was like, hey, I saw you pick up that trash. Why did you do that? And I was like, I just felt like I needed to pick it up. And um, and that ultimately, that relationship led to me getting an on-campus job in the financial aid office, and that led me to going. Man, I got to travel with them. Like I had perks and stuff that other people didn't get because I picked up a piece of trash, and that's a really, really, really important thing, bro. Like I will move chairs. I will grab a shovel if I need to. You know what I'm saying? And making yourself available, right? Making yourself available to like offer a service that doesn't necessarily benefit you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, those are the things that benefit you.
Hmm.
Because I mean, really, it's selfless. I mean, and that's a universal principle, right? You reap what you sow,
Right.
and every company on this planet is offering some type of service. That's all. That's really all it is. Musicians, you offering a service of your talent. You know, a McDonald's, Walmart, you name them. That's what it is. So I try to make myself available, not to just do what it is that I do, but like, what do you need me to do? Is there
Right.
something that I can do for you? Like, if you need, I mean, how many times have me and you talked and we just bounced ideas off each other? And I always joke with you about like, yeah, man, you need to go ahead and put me on the payroll because I feel like I'm consulting now. I'm gonna just contract it out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Ah.
but I got a 3 hour minimum and I'm starting at 40 because I'm not a $20 an hour human. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I try to make myself available, man. That's really important.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it go back to like, man, I know a lot of us, man, we the early 80 kids, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just go over and beyond. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just do
Right.
what you required to do. Go over and beyond. You know what I'm saying? Because like I say, people watching you, it's like, okay, is he just gonna do the bare minimum and what he's supposed to do, or is he going over and beyond? Because
Right.
with the example of you picking up the trash, it's like, okay, he go to school here, he get an education, but he saw something that needed to be done, he just did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
So sometimes you got to just do it. Sometimes you got to.
I got a lot of things in college, man.
We're not gonna get into that. But so, hey, sometimes you may even have to ask. Like you say, hey,
Right.
is there anything else, you know what I'm saying, that I can do? Or, you know, just
Right.
talk, open your mouth, bro. What they say, closed mouth don't get fed. So you got to open your mouth,
Right.
and,
Right.
and
Right.
talk and let it be known. Like I say, I tell everybody this, man, even when it's come to networking, it's about who you know, what you know about who you know, and we never talk about the last part, what they know about you.
That's
Never talk about that.
oh,
We never talk about that because it's always about it's about who you know, man. It's about who you know. Yeah, it's about you
right.
who you know, but what they know about you, if they don't know that you're trying to do something,
Right.
then they're not gonna be able to help you, even though they in that lane that can take you to where you're trying to go. You can't go
Right.
there because you haven't told them what you're trying to do. So with everything you said, even about when they say, what do? You may work a 9 to 5 somewhere, but what's that passion and that talent that's inside of you
Right.
that you really want to do? Tell them
Right.
what you really want to do, even if you're doing it on a part-time basis. You tell them that because it may be something that they're involved in that can help you propel to that next level.
Right. And also, you know, not just being necessarily, and I'm not saying that you are saying to be that way, but asking about what it is that they do. Like, don't just be, you know, um, um, so centered on your own advancement that you don't care about what other people got going on.
Absolutely.
Because if they're doing something, and maybe you are a higher caliber of musician, you know, man, it's not gonna hurt you to give back. Now, if you're in a contract or something, you can't go without outside of that contract. But like, it's not gonna hurt you to give back.
Right.
I was at a location last week, right? And I actually went to this location to get a bid on a job from another company, and it's with the general contractor I work with. We needed somebody. We got to have somebody like repair an awning at a really nice restaurant in Rockwall, and so I went there and I talked to the guy and I could hear his accent and I know a couple of people from South Africa and I was like, I know that accent, and people feel like I feel like people feel good when they're not at home and they're somewhere else and somebody sees something familiar and they can relate to it. So I asked him, was like, how long have you been here? And he told me his whole story about how he backpacked across South Africa, went up to Europe, came over here and told me the whole story. And I was like, man, that's really, really interesting. And so we finished talking, but most of our conversation was not about what I needed from him. Most of our conversation was about him.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking him about him and wanting to know his story because I'm just interested in people. I like learning about other cultures and other people's experiences. Well, sure enough, when I left, I'm not joking. Within 15 minutes, he was like, hey, man, I need some work from y'all. Within like 15 minutes, the guy hit me and was like, yo, basically, here's some money for you. Right. And I said, okay, well, yeah, I'll come check it out. I'll be there tomorrow. And so went and checked it out, and it wasn't a whole lot of money. It was like a $2,000 job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But granted, like $2,000 on a 10-minute conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like just from listening to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just from being like a actual person talking to him. And so, but what I did with that was um I reached out to the owner of the company. I was like, hey man, are there some other guys that maybe want some of this money? And I brought other people in, right? I could have been stingy. I could have said, nah, man, I want to do it myself. I'm gonna spend that little extra time, make that little extra money, you
Right.
know. But I reached out and was like, hey man, like who else who needs some cash? Who needs some money? Like let's bring some of these other guys in. We'll knock it out quick. I'll take a hit on the money that I would have made, but I'm pouring back into the team. I'm pouring back into people. I'm not stingy with what comes my way. Like let me see how I can help somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, no stingy energy, man. That's how you get ahead. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Which is one of the laws of you know being wealthy. We
Right.
the law of what? Giving.
Right. Right.
Per Eddie Dean. That's a law of giving,
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. How did you network with somebody that you really been wanting to network with? Like say if it's a major music director or something, and they really don't know you, but you've been wanting to like build a relationship with them and get to know them. Like how would you go about networking with somebody like that?
Um, you got to believe in who you are, right? You got to believe in what you're doing. If you seek, and I hear this all the time, if you're seeking money, it's going to be harder for you to find it. Like you got to live with more than just the desire to have money. Most of the people that have money, like buku money, they didn't start out saying, I just want to make some money. They started out, of course, they wanted to make money, but what they did was they started out providing a service, right?
Right.
And but along with that, when meeting somebody that you've been anticipating working with, they the real power is not in them believing that you are the one, right? The real power is them just believing in you as a person.
Okay.
You as a person, because I mean, you've done sales, right? You know sales. Um, you know as well as I do that it's not necessarily about how much better your product is than somebody else, because you got 1,000 different types of bread in the store, right? And you may have some
Yep.
specific thing that you're looking for, but ultimately it's the branding. Like, how do I believe in you as a person to sell me this? Like, because if I don't trust you, you got to come off trustworthy. You got to be trustworthy. You have to be a person that they're not going to feel like, oh, this person's just trying to get something from me. This person's just trying to get over me. The best thing to do is to be. I'm not going to say be desperate, but you have to be hungry. You can't wave off an opportunity. You have to really take advantage of that interaction and let them know, like, hey, I'm serious. Like, this is. I mean, it really depends on. Okay, you gotta have something to show them,
Okay.
right? Whether you're singing, uh, right there, or whether you're giving them sending them a link. And one of the things that we always do is when somebody says, "Hey, let me," well, give me your card. Like, cards are good. I have cards because sometimes that people ask for a card, and if you don't have a card, they look at you almost like you're not valid. You know,
Right.
right? Uh, but but at the same time, like, I want your number. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to have a little bit of a stake, a little bit of control in the situation. So be quick to say, hey, can I email you my this? Can I text you the link to my this? And set the stage for them to give you their information, right? Because now um, they're either gonna say yes or they're gonna say no, right? And if they say no, it's like, okay, well, um, do you have social media? I'm not all that social media, active like that. But and I'm getting there. If I could, I would be off the grid, but I'm not there yet. Maybe one day I
Right.
will be off the grid. But uh, I always when I'm meeting somebody new, somebody I want to network with, like, I'm always like giving an opportunity to, like, hey, can I call you later and we talk about it, or can I send you my information? So you need to have somewhere that you can send them. Because if you saying you're doing something and you ain't putting no time into it to be able to provide some type of example of what it is that you're doing, then it's going to look like you're really not doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So have something ready. Um, I would say, like, a elevator pitch. Be able to say what you're trying to say in like 10 seconds, because people are impatient.
Right.
People are impatient. We got microwave food. We got Uber Eats. We got, you know, uh, nowadays, if our cell phone take an extra 4 seconds to load whatever it's trying to load, we like looking at, like, man, what's wrong with my phone? you
Right.
know,
No, you're
like,
right.
so be prepared. When I worked with the talent development agency, we used to do a speed networking exercise where we would sit literally 70 people down in chairs, and we just have them another 70 people, like, in a circle around them, and just have them going around, just like introducing themselves, saying what it is that they do, telling them where they could find uh, their material or whatever. Practice that, practice it with yourself in the mirror, practice it in your car, and be prepared. You got to be prepared to meet this person, because it could be at a tire shop.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something that works for me. And we kind of already hit on it, but if it's somebody that I want to work with and it's the opportunity to like talk to them and network, I don't even talk about none of that. I just straight personal, bro. I try to get to know them, who they are, talk about, and once I know who they are, and then I find something that's in common with what they do, or like what they like, I take
Right.
that and run with it because now we can build a relationship based on that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I'll get into, hey man, you mind, grab some lunch or whatever, and we could talk about blah blah blah. Talk about the other stuff at lunch that I really want to do.
Right. And I got the lunch. I got lunch on
Right.
me.
It's on me.
Right. Right.
Let's go grab coffee. Starbucks, it's on me. You know what I'm saying? One
Right.
day when you're free and we can talk further on the stuff that I really want to talk about. But that initial conversation is gonna be getting to know them and who they are, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got
yeah.
that's where you win because it's about the relationship. Like they want to know like who you are and how you are because you could be dope on your instrument, but if you're a whack person, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not cool to hey, if you're not cool to hang out with, then it's like, bro, I can find anybody that can play. I want a homie, really.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Show me you can be a homie, then maybe, we can do some business together. But before that, it's like,
right.
nah.
Yeah, and you're right, and that goes what I was saying. Like once they believe in you, you know what I'm saying. Like if they believe in you as a person, then a lot of times they'll be more willing to invest time and thought into whatever it is that you do. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
I mean, I get people reaching out to me all the time to sing or to do this and to do that, and sometimes I'll and not to discredit the opportunities, but like I'm we was having a conversation the other week and I can't remember exactly what you said, but we were talking about like priorities, right? Sometimes just the way my priorities are right now, like I'm putting energy into some other stuff, but but whenever I get those opportunities, I don't a lot of times I don't necessarily spend a whole lot of thought on it just because of the relationship that I have with that person is not one of those relationships. Um, but like to say like if you call me and was like, yo, bro, I'm thinking about doing this, like I'm gonna spend a little bit more time with it. And I mean, we've had so many conversations about so much stuff. Like it's like it's not enough time on this planet. We don't have enough time on this planet to really to do it all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. But yeah, man, doing the you gonna edit this part out.
All right. And I know you gotta go, bro. It's about to be 7:00.
Oh man, I'm already I'm in trouble, I think.
I thought you had said 7:30.
Nah, 7. It's cool. It'd be all right. Yeah.
I thought it was 7:30.
Nah, 7. It's cool.
And it's not. You need me to call the people, bro? I'm gonna call the people, man. You ain't gonna be available tomorrow.
I got a black eye. I can't come in. The cat hit me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and cut it short though. So I gotta ask you this, man. I ask everybody this that come on. And you may already know the question, you may not. But what's some advice you would give to the next upcoming generation?
Ooh. Man, it's so much stuff, like this generation that's coming up behind us. They live in a whole different world than what we live in. We grew up just a lot different. We had to deal with a lot of different stuff that they're not having to deal with, and then they're dealing with some stuff that, excuse me, that we didn't have to deal with. But if I could say anything to the next generation, I would tell them to pay attention. Pay attention. Um, I have two kids, and the the standard thing nowadays for a teenager to do is to keep their eyes buried in their phone. That's what they do. That's their thing, and it's a lot of stuff that's going on around them that they're not aware of, and um, and I think that it's crazy how this awareness that we have nowadays is to a certain degree keeping their attention off of the life that's happening around them. You know, put your phone down. You know, get away from the screens at some point, and connect with people the old-fashioned way. You know, pay
Yeah.
attention to what's going on around you. Pay attention, and I'm not saying that like in a negative way, because like what I said earlier, like opportunities are endless, right? And if your face is stuck in your phone, like you're gonna miss out
Hmm.
on a lot of things. If everything that you do is connected um to technology, like you're gonna miss out on the human element of life, because it's at the end of the day, like we benefit from technology. Technology all gives us a lot of perks, you know, um, but it'll never um, outweigh or supersede your ability to affect the person that's actually next to you.
Right.
So pay attention to what's going on, and keep your head up. You know,
Nice.
keep your head up. Like
Yeah.
like 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 they used to say, keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
You didn't play no ball though. You don't know nothing about
Yeah, I
that.
played a little something, man. Hey, respect me, man. Put some respect on that.
My bad.
But man, hey, man, I appreciate you, bro. Coming
Already.
on, man. And I hope you don't get in trouble, man.
I'll be good.
I ain't got no insurance money now.
Boy, you see this smile,
Man.
boy? That smile won't fix it all, boy.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you, man. It's been a long time coming. I know we supposed to do this some time back, but
Right.
you know me, man. I'm spontaneous, man. I'll hop on and say, like, hey, man, it just popped in my mind. Let's do it. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Thanks a lot, man. And you
Hey,
dropped
and look,
some gems, bro.
available. I was available.
Right. Yeah, it just
Right.
just happened. So yeah, man, I appreciate you, and call me if you need me.
Yeah. Hey, man, make some room on the couch.
Huh?
All right, bro.